Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside Genie, where we will be looking at the racing today from Fairview on the poly track, where we have 8 races. We kick off with the first race, which is a maiden plate over 1200 meters. Let us have a look at the betting. Betting is as follows: number 1, Mousy on over 9 to 10, 70 to 10, Q Cosas, Stunning 11 to 2, Captain Calico 12 to 1, Amazing Tune 18 to 1, 22 to 1 and longer. The rare scratch number 8, Scottish Primrose. Now, I can tell you this in race number 1. Number 1, Mousy on River do have quite a decent form, came from Natal, has had 2 runs here. But now going back over the 1200 meters where it was running over 1400 meters before, and I think that the 1200 meters might be just a little bit short. I certainly won't be rushing to take the 9 to 10 on this horse. And my first selection is number 6, Kyokosas Kudegraph filly. This filly has been running constantly, um, and I do think today if Greg Shannon board drawn 8, this filly will be hard to beat in this race, although was beaten last week by Triple in the Stars. But I think the 1000 meter might just be a little bit too fast, and I think that 1200 meters will suit better. And I'm looking forward to seeing number 6Q Kosas in the number 1 box after the race. For outsider selections, I'm going for number 3, which is Captain Calico. Duncan McKenzie stable, T Good on board. Last time that finished behind Atkins and Grimshaw on the poly last week over the 1300 meters was thereabouts. That ran on nicely, 23 seconds for to be the second fastest. 400 to finish, and also 2 runs back behind Forest of Green. Summoner was also 22.7 on the poly. And in between was a run on the turf track, which didn't favour. I think maybe better on the poly. Certainly a horse to include in all your calculations. And my other outsider is number 9, Stunning. Stunning comes from also from Joburg, has had 2 runs. In both runs ran second on the poly, so certainly not adverse to the poly and definitely inclusion. Just for interest sake, this filly is a half sister to Irish Flame. The Dam Clock, the Rock has produced quite a number of capable runners, and this horse has run against some decent opposition in Gauteng and definitely running 2 seconds. Definitely not without a prayer. In my outside, and then we go in race number 2, which is all to come here at the 100 handicap over 1200 meters, and class B average merit of 94. Here the betting is as follows. Number 6, Broadside 50 to 20, 3 to 1, Tarsus La Mia 6 to 5 to 1, and Wolfgang 6 to 1, Captain Anne Bolly 10 to 1, 20 to 1, Purple Diamond. Yeah, for me, a difficult race to assess. I did win with the favorite basically because of the weight he's carrying, 53 and a half, and he did win over the probably 1300 meters, but obviously in a very lower division, and that's my only concern, that he's running against horses that has proved himself in higher division. So my first choice would have been number 1, La Mia, but I just got a feeling the weight might catch out. Although getting -2.5, still then carrying 61 and a half. It's a pity about Purple Diamond. I'm sure Purple Diamond also has got the ability to win this race, but last time out, it felt a miss coughing. And even the 2 runs before that was battling a bit. So watch out for number 2. Maybe chuck into the back end of your quartets. My other outsider section is Tarsus. Tarsus also was running well, but didn't run too well behind Sullerbergen last time out, but can improve. And also number 5, Captain Anne Bonny. She's also familiar with ability, can certainly be involved when the voters are taken. Do play in your quartets and trifecta selections. Also, a horse like Wolfgang, he's always had a big reputation before winning 2 races on the poly earlier in the year in 2020. And then after the break, the COVID break, came back and couldn't find the same form. Now finding itself here in Port Elizabeth. but certainly a horse with a little bit of ability. Then we move on to race number 3, a maiden plate over 1600 meters. Here the betting is as well. Pacific Duke 12 to 10, King of the Moment 5 to 2, Full Score 4 to 1, Royal Shining 9 to 2, Highway Star 20 to 1, 25 to 1, Homer Fidget and 50 to 1, and longer the rest. So here in this race, I'm going for number 1, Royal Shining. Did run on this turf last time, but it seems that he favors the Poly. Action won again the other day, beating horse Duke of Cards on the line. And I think I'm looking for number 1, Royal Shining, to run a forward race today. Number 2, Specific Duke, last time out, he had a huge lead, and it looked all over Barder shouting. And then Super Noir came from nowhere, running down and got up on the line. And I'm wondering if they can try similar tactics again today. Number 3, Highway Star, is an ex-Cape Town horse. Can improve. Watch out for the placings. And then number 5, Homer Featured. We have a small share in this horse. And yeah, we're not sure whether this horse likes the Poly, but has run a few places. Last time out was stubborn, slow out. Hopefully today, if it jumps better, it can really be involved in a finish. This horse has got ability, but he's his own worst enemy in terms of playing up at the start, and that has cost him dearly. But hopefully the jockey can settle him down today, and we can get a better run from him. So then let's move on to race number 4, which is measured at 68 handicap, Class D, average measured at 65. Here we have number 3, Nijinsky Sun 33 to 10, Precious Stone 9 to 2, 5 to 1, Maldives, Latest Craze 11 to 2, Reach for the Line 6 to 1, Fighting for You 8 to 1, Frank 14 to 1, Tackle Tool 14, Region 7 14, and 50 to 1, Lotus King. So here in race 4 is number 1, Precious Stone. This horse comes from Gauteng and has ran against some decent opposition, and now running in the 65, has run in the 75 and the 79, and wasn't disgraced. So I think in this race, I'm looking forward for number 1, Precious Stone. I think that 1600 meters will suit him better, number 1, Precious Stone. Then my outsider selections is number 7, Takatul. He also horse is running there and thereabouts, and certainly looking at his form, can be involved in a finish here. And I have seen that the Turner stable is starting to running places and picking up a win here and there, and that's always a sign if that's a horse getting into stable, getting into form. And this horse has been running on. You look at 23.1, 22.1. Stubborn, ran on. Last time out, not striding out. But maybe this is the type of horse that can run in from behind and mow them all down. And my other outside section is number 10, Region 7, from the Jared Rudd stable, having his first run. Yeah, was running not too badly in Natal, running 4 or 5 rings behind, and certainly today in a lesser class from 52 kilograms might be a horse to contend with. Then again, we have this horse 9, Lotus King. We also have a small share in this, but all as again, this horse has won its maiden, but after his maiden, haven't really showed anything. So we're just running him to see if we can get a little bit of improvement from the horse. Then we get here race 5, Fraser Mare 67 handicap, Class D, average merit weight at 66. Let's have a look at the betting race 5. Here we have number 2, Ruby Rhythm 5 to 2, Reeve Knot 33 to 10, 11 to 2, La Duchesse, 6-1, close to my heart, covered club 6-1. Leader of the pack 9-1, lateral flash 12-1, 16-1, Irish Fleeing. You know, today it's not big fields, but shoot, that is very competitive. I mean, one would think the smaller fields it will be easier, but it's not always like that. So here in race number 5, my first selection is number 4, La Duchesse from draw 1. This horse has been running well. Yes, she ran second behind Saint Therese, and that was in a D74. Saint Therese has won since, and now they're running in a just confirm here, in a D66. So La Duchesse has run in this class, and last time out, 2 runs ago, was second behind Green Dragon in the C division, and I'm looking for today for a nice run from number 4, La Duchesse. My outsider selections is number 3, close to my heart. Also, a horse that run well against Princess of Fire last time out, getting the minimum minus 2.5. Has gone close in this class the run before, and I think close to my heart might be a contender in this field. And in my other outsider selection is number 7, Lateral Flash. I think also a horse that's been caught my eye quite a few times, and this horse give the impression that sometimes you run good races. If you have a look here early in a career, 1.5 lengths behind, 3 lengths, and then went a little bit off the boil, but the last 2 runs was encouraging, and certainly that form that she's got in that, you see, made late progress, made low progress. She was running on, and certainly that would make her a danger in this race. Then the favorite is number 2, Ruby Ribbon. Ridden a horse that comes from Cape Town. Ran behind Nijinsky's son in the same class last time out. And yeah, we'll wait and see if he produces best. He can be a contender. But I like Laducés much more. Also, Reeve Knott is a horse that came from Cape Town. That one is maiden, but after that has not done a lot. So we'll have to see what's happening there. Let's move on to race number 6. Here we have a 1200 meters, merit rated 80, Class C, average rated rating 79. And here the favorite is number 1, Aqua Delta, 22-10, Vars Boy 26-10, 33-10, Duke of Cards, Aloysius 8-1, 15-2, Ambra, Tequila 8-1, 12-1, Dolphin, and Microbe 30-1. When one look at the form in this race, number 1, Aqua Delta, certainly do look difficult to beat based on his last run, because and he's now running in a C division 79. Last time he ran in a 93, under 2 lengths behind Sullenberger. Before that ran again Apollo Ice, then ran again in World Radar. Did win a B division 86, and now is finding itself in a C division 79, although carrying 62. Certainly that must make him a big runner in this race today. Number 1, Aqua Delta. Outsider selections, number 3, um, Aloysius. Aloysius has also run against some high divisions and has been running well against that, and certainly also would put him in a good position in this race to be involved in a finish. Here we have Duke of Cards, which course and distance one win. Has been running over longer distances now, back over 1200 meters. But this horse run on from behind, and I'm not too sure if we can, will be able to run down the pacemaker, because certainly he would be coming from behind. Last time out, just failed the collar action. Take a long time to get going. Uh, it looked like he got up on the line, but unfortunately, the camera, the photo showed otherwise. Yeah, but there's also a few other clear runners that you can put in. Yes, Vars Boy, also a horse knocking at the door, has run 2 good races, but in lesser company than the aforementioned horses, but can be involved in a finish, not without a prayer. Number 6, Vars Boy. Then we move on to race The 7, where we also have a very interesting contest. A fillies a mares 9-1 divided handicap class B, average medal rate of 83. And here we have number 6 Blue Duchess, 5-2, 3-1 Duchess of Bourbon, Tony Jet 7-2, Traveling Star 9-2, Free Flow Farm 11-2, Scarborough 3-12, and 14-1 Encryption. Now here in my selection is number 1 Duchess of Bourbon. Duchess of Bourbon is now running in the B Division 83. But if you go back in the history, she ran in 99s, 102s behind horses like Snap Scan, Mayabi Gold. She beat Fortune Flies, which is a 3 or 4-time winner in a C Division 81. Shamrock Wind Starfighter, third runway. That was in a small future, running 16 under. And last time over 1100 meters. I can tell you now, if you look at its horses, a few breeding and previous runs, the 1100 was too short, and just by running 3 lengths behind, certainly that was a very useful run. And I think number 1 Duchess of the Bourbon, hard to beat. But also Tony Jet is the type of horse, she's always there and thereabout. Certainly have got the ability and always tries her best, so can also be in the involved in the finish. As is Travel and Style, also horse that I also follow. Last time out ran on fastest 400 finish behind Princess Khaleesi, but was run out of it. So also horse that you need to include in all your bets. Here we have number 4 Encryption. Encryption also horse that has run against some decent opposition in Gauteng, now finding itself in PE. Certainly a horse that you want to include in your back end of your bets, can surprise in this field. And then we have the favorite here, number 6, Blue Duchess, has done nothing wrong, won 3 races in a row, but again, against lesser opposition, and I think he's going to have a hard race beating number 1, Duchess of Bourbon. So we will be watching the 2 Duchesses in this race. When we get down to race number 8, which is a fillies and mares divided handicap, 72 class D, average medal rate at 68 over 1400 meters. Let's have a look here at the betting. Here betting 4-1 Cherry Pop, 11-2 Perfect Pathway, Fireworks 11-2, Beneficiary 11-2, The Blandina 7-1, Cloud Atlas 7-1, Landa Lovelace 7-1, 14-1, and longer the rest. So here in this race, my first selection is number 6, and this Perfect Pathway. Perfect Pathway has done roughing and wrong, has also been there and around. He's consistent, and I think the Silvano filly has got a few wins left in there. And today my choice to win this race. Last time out running on behind Mary Lee, 23.3, 400 fastest 400 to finish. Always come from behind. These ran against second behind against Blue. Stubborn ran on. Hopefully today she's not going to be stubborn and will be running on. And then my outsider selections is number 1, which is Diplandina. I'm also following this Flower Alley by Winston Mead. And last time out behind Beneficiary was a pacemaker, but just got run out of it. Maybe I think the 1400 meters will suit just that little bit better. And I'm looking for number 1 to run a huge race today. And then my other outsider selection is number 3. Also, a horse I've been following, Cloud Atlas, has been running there and bouts and can go in any day. Has run against stronger 2 runs ago against Wallace Simpson, Traveling Style, Cherry Pop, and I think Cloud Atlas also a horse that you need to include. Cherry Pop is also a horse that you can include, has been running on well, has been there and thereabouts, and certainly not without a chance. Yeah, if you look at the last race, there are horses with chances, many horses with chances, so maybe include as much as you can. Certainly for my pick 6, I'm including the field. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I could point you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.